what Dave Ramsey actually means for me. So that's what I'm gonna talk about. I'm gonna talk about Dave Ramsey. Yes. Because my YouTube channel is about survival in America. About how to survive in America. And who am I to talk about it? I'm nobody. I'm an immigrant. Yeah. I came to America like 30 years ago. I'm an immigrant and I survived here, so I want to share with other people how did I survive. And one of my survival skills came from listening to Dave Ramsey. Yes, I was listening to Dave Ramsey and I still listen to him. And it gives me two advantages. First, I learn English. I study English by listening to Dave Ramsey because he uses some financial vocabulary which I learn and use. Also, he teaches me American attitude about money, American attitude, American way of talking, especially American way of talking tough. That was the Dave Ramsey is. He's a tough guy. So I listen to him. I learn English from him, I study how to speak English, and I also learn how to handle my money. So Dave Ramsey, he is my man, he is my teacher. I follow his advice a lot. Thanks to Dave Ramsey, I have zero debt. Thanks to Dave Ramsey, I never use credit cards. Thanks to Dave Ramsey, I have IRA account. I save for retirement. But I must tell you, there are few things that I do not follow Dave Ramsey. Thanks to Dave Ramsey, I don't have any life insurance. Like this whole life insurance, I stay away from it because Dave Ramsey warned me. So I do listen to Dave Ramsey, he is my teacher. But I do not follow him blindly. He is not a cult. He is not a cult of personality. I do not follow him blindly. And there are several things I do differently. And let me tell you all about them. First of all, I do have a credit card. I do have a credit card. I never use it. I never use it because I believe what Dave Ramsey keep telling about using credit cards. Dave Ramsey told me on a radio that people who use credit cards, they spend on average 18% more than people who use cash. He was probably talking about American people, those who were born in America. Those who were born in America. I'm also an American. I'm a US citizen. I'm naturalized US citizen, but I was not obviously born in this country. So let me tell you, when it comes to naturally born US citizens, I believe it's 18% more. But when it comes to immigrants, I believe it's 100% more. Because there's so much stuff an immigrant would never have bought if he did not have a credit card. So that's why I do have a credit card, but I never use it. Never. I only use my credit card when I get an email from my bank telling me if I don't use it, they will terminate it. As soon as I get such an email, I get this email once every couple of years. I get such an email from my bank. As soon as I get such an email, I take my credit card, I go to local supermarket and I buy myself a milkshake. Yes, a milkshake or a protein shake, something like this. I spend like $12 or $8 and that's it. And for another 2 years, I don't even touch my credit card. Now the question is, why do I even have a credit card? The answer is very simple. I applied for credit card because I wanted to rent a car. It turned out I discovered through my personal experience, when you rent a car at the large airport like Miami or Fort Lauderdale, you can easily rent a car using your debit card. Easily, no problem at all. But if you go to a small regional airport, such as, for example, Knoxville, Tennessee, they will never rent your car with a debit card. They require a credit card. A credit card. So you see what's happening. Dave Ramsey have no idea. Dave Ramsey and his team, they have no idea what's going on in their own backyard. Knoxville, Tennessee, it's Dave Ramsey's backyard, and he doesn't know that they will never rent you a car without a credit card. Never. You must have a credit card to rent a car from a small regional airport. That's it. I know if you call customer service and ask them, can I rent a car using my debit card? They will say, yes, of course, you will need this and you will need that and you will need this, but we will rent it. But in reality, if you will actually try to rent it, you will never get it. They will never give you a car. You must have a credit card in a small regional airport, such as Knoxville, Tennessee. But if you go to Fort Lauderdale, to a large airport, yes, absolutely, you can rent it with a debit card. I know, I tried both. So that's a thing. Now, another thing. So I told you, I never use a credit card. I use it once a year. I buy a protein shake once a year using my credit card, and then 2 days later I go to my bank and I deposit cash into ATM. That's how I pay for my credit card. I deposit cash into ATM. So my credit usage is 0%. Do you know what is my credit score? Can you guess what is my credit score? I'll tell you, 806. That's my credit score. 806. So that's another thing that Dave Ramsey believes. He keeps telling people that you need to be heavily in debt in order to have a good credit score. That's not true. Of course he doesn't know the truth because he himself never uses credit card. But I do have a credit card which I never use. Never. Once in 2 years maybe. And my credit score is 809. Do you know why I have such a high credit score? Because I have a credit line of like $3,000 and my usage is 0%. I always pay on time. 100% of the times I paid on time. And I have a credit history of like about 9 years. 9 years. I have my credit card about 9 years. Yes. So after having a credit card for more than 2 years, my credit score was already more than 720. And then it started climbing and climbing and climbing. You see, I have a credit card. I never use it. I am not in debt. I am not in debt at all. Credit card companies, they do not profit from me, not at all. But I do have a very good credit score. Now, have I ever used it? Does this credit score comes handy to me? The answer is no. I never used my credit score in my life. So Dave Ramsey is absolutely right. You can live in America happily without ever using your credit score. I never bought a house in my life. I rent. And landlords, they trust me without my credit score. Do you know how? They just see my face and they trust me. That's how. Because I'm a presentable person. When people see me, they just smell I am good. Now, I only rent from private citizens. I never rent from buildings. I never rent from apartment complex. Never. And you should never do it. Do you know why? I only rent from private citizens. My landlord owns 2 condo apartments. That's it. I rent one of them. And I always pay on time. Always pay on time. And guess what? He does not raise my rent. He raised my rent very, very little bit. So now, 10 years later, I pay way below market price, because my landlord trusts me. He is afraid to lose me. That's what happened. I was able to build trusting relationship with my landlord. Now my landlord is an elderly person who paid off his mortgage very long time ago. I don't even believe he ever had a mortgage. His apartment, his condo apartment is paid off. So he doesn't need a lot of money, he needs a peace of mind. And that's what I give him. And another thing, he's an elderly person. Sometimes I offer him my help, like to, for example, to take out Christmas tree, or to disassemble Christmas tree, or to help him to connect his TV, or to drive him from oral surgery, something like this. I always help him. Sometimes he has a boo-boo on his leg and he cannot walk. I go to a supermarket for him. I help him. He is an elderly person, he is my neighbor, he is a landlord. I help him. Because that's what I believe, people should help each other. I never charge him for my help, but I was able to build trusting relationship with my landlord. You see? And when I rented my apartment from him, he trusted me. He trusted me right away. He trusted me right away. Yes. So when you rent from a building, forget about it. They will never rent you if you don't have a credit score. Well, I do have a credit score, so I wouldn't have problem with that. But do yourself a favor. Never rent apartment from a building. Only rent apartment from a private landlord. The one who has, for example, a private building, he lives downstairs and the second floor he rent, or vice versa. Maybe he lives upstairs and the first floor, the ground floor, he rents. Or maybe he owns a condo apartment somewhere. So you're renting from a private citizen, not from a building. And when you rent from a private citizen, there is a strong chance that you will be able to build a relationship with this person, a trusting relationship over the years, and as a result, he is not gonna raise your rent so much. Because if he raises it too much, you will move, and he will end up renting his apartment to some jerk. Yes. That's what it is. So that's one thing. I do have a credit card. I never use it. My credit score is above 800. It's well above 800. It's 806 the last time I checked. So I have a perfect credit score. And I never use this credit score. I never use this credit score because I never take a loan ever. I never borrow money. I follow Dave Ramsey on that. I never borrow money. And when I rent, I never rent from a landlord who requires a credit score. Because that's crazy. Why do you need a credit score? That's ridiculous. If a tenant doesn't pay, you just throw him out. You're not risking anything. It's your apartment. You're not lending him your apartment. You are renting it. You are leasing it. That's the difference. So I would never rent an apartment from a building or from a complex. No. I only rent my apartment from a private, elderly citizen. That's what I advise everybody to do. That's the one thing. Another thing that I do not follow Dave Ramsey when it comes to choosing a mutual fund. I only invest into S&P 500. That's it. Only S&P 500. Because I understand S&P 500. When I open S&P 500 holdings, let's say I have a mutual fund, and I do have a mutual fund, which imitates S&P 500 index, and I see what kind of companies do they have, and I see Nvidia like 7%, Microsoft 5%, Apple 6%, Facebook 2%. I know why. Because that's what S&P 500 index allocation is. So this fund is only mimicking, only copying S&P 500. But if I open a mutual fund which is under management, and I see that they invest 12% into Nvidia instead of 7%, I don't understand why. Or I see they invest like 5% into some pharmaceutical company I never heard about, which only takes 0.5% in S&P 500. But in a managed fund, suddenly it's 5%. I don't understand why. So that's why I don't buy managed mutual funds. I only buy indexed mutual funds, such as is S&P 500 index, or there is another one, US Total Stock Market Index fund. That's it. Nothing else I would buy. So, just as Dave Ramsey, I never invest in bonds. I do not understand bonds. I believe what Shakespeare said. Don't borrow money, don't lend money. That's what I believe. Dave Ramsey keeps quoting the Bible that borrower is a slave to the owner. It's Psalms. It's not 5 books of Moses. It's not New Testament. It's Psalms. So it's just a poetry. It's not a commandment. You see? It's not a commandment. It's just a poetry. So that's what it is. So there's no reason to quote it. Besides, during the Bible times, a person who didn't pay his debt was sold to slavery. That was a law back then. Today, it's a totally different story. I live in the state of New York. If I didn't pay for a credit card, and I have a credit card balance for more than 3 years, then statute of limitation runs out. And I am not gonna pay it again. You see, statute of limitation in the state of New York, it's 3 years. Other states, every state in America has a statute of limitation on debt. Yet, Dave Ramsey never mentions it. Never mentions it. He keeps advocating for snowball, for working hard and paying off your debt completely. He never mentions that such thing as statute of limitation ever exists, but it does. It does. So, but he never mentions it. Another thing that I do follow Dave Ramsey on giving money to relatives. Do you know how many times my relatives who live abroad, who did not immigrate to America like I did, they didn't take such a bold step. It's too brave for them. They were making fun of me when I immigrated to America. And now they ask me for money. They ask me for money. And I never give it to them. Never. They want to borrow money from me. they wanted me to gift money to them. I never gave them a penny. Do you know why? Because I listened to Dave Ramsey advice. Dave Ramsey taught me never to help your relatives with money. And guess what? None of them died from starvation after I refused. Yes. Many times they asked me for money, every time I refused. And 2 years later, 3 years later, 10 years later, they did not die from starvation. So they did not really need my money. Dave Ramsey taught me that. So he's my man. But there is one little thing that Dave Ramsey teaches which I disagree. Sometimes elderly people call Dave Ramsey show and they say something like this: I have 2 daughters, one of them talk to me, another one does not talk to me. So should I disinherit my another one who doesn't talk to me? And Dave Ramsey always say, yes, you should disinherit the child who never talked to you. If a child never talked to you, if a child lost all the relationship with you, if your child cancelled you, you must not inherit him any money. Give your money to other children. I disagree. I believe a person should never disinherit his children. And I will explain you why. Because you have 2 children. One of them you love, another one you don't love. One of them loves you, another one hates you. You must leave your inheritance to both of them equally. That's what I believe. And I will explain you why. Because if you give 100% of your money to one child and you give 0% of your money to another child, then another child will hate your first child. You see what happens? Instead of money, you leave your children hate. You will inherit hate. So your daughter who you love will inherit hate from you, hate of his sibling, and you must never let it happen. Never. You must split your money equally among all your children, and that's it. That's what I believe. Okay, bye guys. Bye.